welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani. I am from Department of Computer Science, Arabhat College, University of Delhi. So in this current series of ours, we are going through HTML and its various tags. And in the previous lectures, we have seen basic tags of HTML, and we have also covered HTML list in detail with all its types. So now our today's agenda is about creating tables. So tables, if you can see, is actually a kind of very important concept or a very important element when we talk about a web page or when we talk about something in markups. So with this platform here we go with creation of tables. So creation of tables is actually a very simple concept in HTML. So it is table is actually a nested that closed tag, I can say. So it will obviously go inside the body. What are the main tags in in the table thing are actually one is the table, which is going to mark the starting and ending of the table itself. Then within that table we have some different tags, and I'll be explaining them one at a time. Another is the TR. TR stands for table row. So whenever we are starting a table row, that indicates that within this TR tag, opening and closing of TR, we are going to write all those elements which we want to have in a particular row. Now within a particular row there are some cells, or we can say there are columns. So every every piece, every element, every data is marked here within the enclosings of TD tag. So TD is for table data. So TD opening and TD close. So that will go within the TR. So the hierarchy goes like this. We have a table tag. Within the table we will be having some rows. How many, that depends on your kind of application, or that depends on your example. Then within that we have every row is being marked by the presence of TR tag, and every element is being marked by the presence of TD tag. And here table, TR and TD are the paired tags. Paired in the sense, as you all aware, that paired is opening and closing, both should be there. Now one thing which is very important here is when it is a very general concept that we have our first row as the header row. So header row is a very common concept in the as far as tables are concerned. So in order to have one row as the header row, we will be defining all its elements as TH. So TH closing and TH opening will be having the whatever elements or whatever material we want to have as the table header. So let's have a look at the usage of all these tags which I have just told you. So within as you can see on the screen, there is doc type HTML. Doc type HTML is there in order to kind of, we can say, represent the HTML version, which is basically we are taking as HTML5. Then within the HTML we have body. Here deliberately I have not given the head or the title tag, because focus presently is on the table tag. So within the body there is the start of table, and presently I have not written any attributes within the table tag or any attributes of the table tag. There will be many upcoming in the in this lecture. Then we have TR. So if you can see the code is properly indented. So you can see there is TR opening and there is TR closing after 3 lines. So that will mark TR opening and TR closing is going to mark one row. And then within one row I have given TH. TH is for header, that whatever element you have given as header will be displayed like the table header, or we can say will be displayed kind of strong or in the bold font. So there is TH opening and then TH closing, which gives the first name, then TH opening and TH closing last name, and TH opening and TH closing age. So basically there will be kind of 3 columns within the first row. The first column will be of the first name, the second column says the last name, and the third column will be of age, and these captions, the captions of basically I can say columns, which is first name, last name and age, because they are enclosed in the th tag, they will be displayed in bold font. And then if we see at the next tr, which is the next table row, which is within the next tr opening and closing tags, we can see we have table data, and whatever name I want to write below the first name, that is for the first row I have written the first name, then for the second element I have written the second last name, and for the third element, as we need to have age, it is giving us a number. So every element will be placed according to the first. If you can see, the first table row contains 3 columns: first name, last name, age. These will be displayed as table header, that means in the bold font. Then the second table row is about having 3 different elements enclosed inside the td, which is table data tag, and after closing of that particular tr, we will be moving up to the next table row as shown. So here we have the next table row, again 3 elements, first for the first name, then last name, and then the age, and then we have the last row, which is here it is marked as Joe Watson 41. So Joe will be the first name, Watson the last name, and 41 the age. So please notice each and every element is written inside the table data td, and one row comprising of 3 tds, 3 table datas here, is enclosed inside the tr tag. So the structure is very simple, and then table is closed, followed by closing of body and closing of HTML. Now if you want to see the kind of in output for these particular tags, so here is the output. In this output, the first name, last name and age will be displayed as kind of we can say bold, because we have given them table header. Then we have the whatever elements, whatever data we have written for all the 3 rows. Now here you can see that table is going to, or table is displaying a border also. So that elements, or that those attributes can be controlled, whether you want to see the border or how thick you want to see the border. Those all will be covered in the upcoming slides. Now after preparation of this basic structure of table, let's kind of move on to the next we can say table header. I have already told you for the first row will be the table headers if you want to make it. Otherwise it you can directly enclose each and every element inside the table data itself. So table table header, if you want to have a look, you can have it on the screen. I have given 3 elements, person A, person B and person C as table header. So the code for the table header is th in opening and closing, and all these person A, person B and person C are actually enclosed within a table row. So these elements are you can see these are kind of bold enough to be kind of recognized as the table headers. Then after table headers, I was talking about borders. So if you want to add a border to the table which is present kind of we can say by default, we can also kind of let's say we want to control the thickness, we want to have it kind of less thick, or we want to have it kind of more thick. That we can do by 2 ways. One way which is present in the kind of earlier versions of HTML is giving the border attribute along with the table tag. Another kind of very popular and kind of a very kind of we can say robust way of adding the border is through the CSS, cascading style sheet, and we will be using border property of that CSS on the table th and td. I will be telling both the ways. So for the first way, what we need to do is, so you have seen that we are kind of going to start the table with the table enclosed in the kind of in the form of a tag. But if we want to have a border, we will say table border equals to whatever thickness number you want to have. By default a border is also there. So if you are going to say border equals to 0, then it will not display any border. And here according to the number, let's say for example I am going to give it 2, 3, 4 or 5, the border will be kind of becoming more thick. So what is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is actually you can say pixels, which is controlling the thickness of the border. So if I can say table border equals to 2, that is kind of a bit thick than as compared to table border equals to 1, and if we say 0, then there will be kind of no border. So that's a pretty simple attribute which was very prevalent till year HTML4, but the moment we are kind of or the way in which we are progressing towards the use of HTML, now it is deeply involved in having a close integration with cascading style sheets, that is CSS. Now if we want to control this border using the CSS border property, how it can be done, let's have a look to that. So now what are we going to do? We will be saying table comma th comma td, and within that particular kind of curly brackets we want to tell the name of the attribute and what value we want for that particular attribute. So first, before the kind of we can say brackets, it is going to give us the name of the elements on which that particular style will be applied. So as you can see on the screen, this border attribute, whatever I am going to give, will be applied on the table header and will be applied on the table data. And what is the attribute? The attribute is, it is going to display border. What kind of border? Then the value of the attributes comes into the picture. So the border colon and then the value of the attribute. 1 px here is for pixels, 1 pix solid black. So if you are going to give this attribute or this kind of coding, this is kind of a CSS cascading style sheet command, and this command has to be enclosed into the HTML code which we are going to do soon. And then this particular attribute of border with 1 pixel thickness solid black border will be applied to the table th and td, all the three. So now the question arises, how are we going to do that? I mean, where to include these style, this particular command. So this particular command will be, you have to be very careful here, will be enclosed inside the style tag which is present in the head tag. So we have presently till this point we have just seen that there is a title tag which is present inside the head tag or the head section we can say, but here if we want to modify some default behavior, we need to go or we need to take the help of CSS, and in order to take the help of CSS we are going to write whatever we want to apply on in the style tag. So how this style tag is going to be written, that is given on the screen. If you can see, this is doc type HTML as the name indicates for HTML5, then HTML. Now please notice the presence of head section. Within the head section there is a tag which is style, and presently I am focusing on the upper part of whatever is written in the code, which is the exact command which we have discussed, that is table th td with commas in between, and within the curly brackets I am just reading the first line out, which is border 1px solid black, and this border collapse is collapse. I am going to tell you this in a minute. So presently we are focusing table thtd and then border 1px solid black followed by a semicolon, because this is going to give me the end of one particular attribute. Then we have, let's say we have kind of closing brackets here, then the style tag close. Presently, deliberately I am not considering the other commands for the sake of simplicity. Then closure of head tag, and then we begin with our normal kind of body section, and within the body section we will make the table as I have told you in the earlier example. Very normally we are going to write the table tag, the th tag and the td tags, whatever is the requirement. Now this border of 1 pixel solid black border will be applied to the table th and td. So this is the way in which we are going to do this using the CSS commands, or the simpler idea could be, we can say within the table tag we can say table border equals to whatever 2, 3 or whatever pixel we can say. But then in using that particular solution, which is although yes I agree is a simpler one, we will not be able to control it very minutely, which will be doing using this particular arrangement of CSS commands, and that we will see soon. So now coming to the next thing, which is I have written here is border dash collapse colon collapse. So basically what does it mean? Collapsing border basically is there is a property which is going to give me a very, I can say, thin line within the cells. So previously if you can see, we have a very thick line that is available on the screen. We have a very thick line outside the outside the table we have one line, and if you can see very minutely there is one border enclosing each and every cell as well. So there is the outside border and there is a border around every cell as well. So if I am going to give the attribute as collapse, so border collapse colon, then the value is collapse. So that essentially means, so here is the code, border collapse colon collapse, that essentially means that you don't need any kind of cell border, only the border of the table will be fine. So here you can see there is no kind of extra border around each and every cell. I can say there is only one border, that is of the table. Not every individual cell is enclosed inside the border. So the idea here is, or the command we can say here is border collapse, and then the value is collapse. So that is the meaning of collapsed table border. But that is not all. Using the CSS cascading style sheet commands, we can kind of control, or we can say play with the border attributes in many more ways, which is actually not possible when we are talking only the border as an attribute of the table tag. So we can have very kind of stylish borders also. So let's say if we want to give you, or if we want to give the page a feel of kind of an invisible border, so what are we going to do? We will be having the border of white color. So white color is the color of the background as well. I am assuming the color of the background is not changed here, it is white. So we will be having a white colored border here. And how are we going to have that white color border? Because we will be coloring all other cells into a different border, will not be colored. So it will be of white color, and white is again the document background color I am assuming here, and it is going to give me the impression of an invisible border as it is shown on the screen. Now let's see how it is going to happen. So in order to have this, a very kind of minor change which we need to do is, there are two changes. One is we need to have a background color for the table header and the table data. That means for all the cells we need to have a background color, and the border color has to be there in white. So we have written table td, and within the curly brackets we will be taking the attributes of the style and the corresponding values. So border colon 1 pix solid white. Earlier we have said solid black, here we have said solid white. Then border collapse attribute I have kept as it is, as I explained. Then again for th and td, as I don't want this to be applied on the table also, I have given the second section of the attributes only to the TH and TD, and that attribute is nothing but the background color, and I have written background color is cyan. So now imagine we have kind of given an impression of some such thing that every cell is in this cyan color and the border is of the white color. So that gives me the impression of an invisible border. Not only this, we can have these cells as enclosed inside the you can say circular or kind of oval shaped shapes, which is basically having rounded corners, as you can see on the screen, and for that we need to have a border radius property. So if we want to have round borders of the cells, we will be controlling it through the border radius property as given on the screen. So here you can see that we are not going to have the border collapse as that border collapse attribute we are not going to have. Why? Because we want the cell borders to be specifically shown there, and these cell borders we are looking for in kind of we can say with rounded corners. So the property here is border radius. So border radius 10 pixels. The moment you are going to kind of increase the value of pixels here, that is going to give you more round shape. The more more the number, more round the shape is. Presently border radius is of 10 pixels. That means the radius, the border is going to be somewhat in a round shape. So the command here is table THTD. Then we have border 1 pix solid black, that I have already kind of explained, and then we have border radius 10 pixels. So this will give me so this command I am going to put inside the style tag under the head section, and then when I will be making a table, all those attributes which I have defined in the style with the given values will be applied onto the table, which will be made inside that particular web page or inside that particular document. Now even with this we can skip the border around the table whole throughout, and for that we need to have a CSS style command, or we can say style selector. For the normal situation you can say table border equals to 0. That means if you want to have border equals to, if you have given border equals to 0 from in the your table as the attribute of your table tag, not in the style tag under the head section, you can kind of have the non border table, but the border will be only around with the only the around of these cells, we can say. So not only this kind of borders, we can have now if we want to do it using the CSS, so what is being done here is we have just skipped the table selector or the table element. We have just left out the table element from the CSS style selector. So if you can see on the screen, earlier we were giving table THTD and then whatever attributes I want to apply. So here I have not given table, I have just given TH and TD and whatever attributes are to be applied, and then we have our table as the left out element, and because we do not have table, it is not going to give me the border of the table. So not only kind of rounded corners or an impression of invisible we can say border, with the border style property we can set the appearance of the border as kind of dotted, as the inset or as the outset. So for that what we need to do is THTD, because these are the elements on which I want to apply. I will say border dash style dotted, border dash style colon, then dotted. So here this is going to give me a dotted border around the TH and the TD elements, not around the table element, because I have left that out. And instead of dotted, as you can see on the screen, we can have many other values here. So we can have dashed here, or we can have solid, we can have double, we can have groove, and this is going to give me kind of different effects. So here if you can see, the border is in the dotted form, and what is the value, what is the command to have this impression is this, that is th comma td, and within the curly brackets border dash style dotted. So instead of dotted you can have dashed, you can have solid, you can have double, groove, ridge, inset, outset, or even none or hidden, and this is going to give you the impressions as we have shown on the screen. So here in this lecture what we have covered is all about how to create a simple table, and then what about the kind of border, how we can play with the borders of the table. But there are many more attributes to be covered in the table, which will be there in the upcoming lectures. Hope you had enjoyed, and here is a list of references which is being used for the preparation of this lecture. Thank you. I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye.